graphing quadratic equations today. You guys remember what or quadratic functions or equation? You guys remember what a quadratic was?
Quadrant. 1, 2,
Huh?
4, 7.
No.
Quadrant. 4.
It's what we were solving
Oh, 4 little like things. Like
last chapter. It just means like,
Is this chapter easier?
I don't know. Like that is a quadratic equation. What makes it a quadratic function? What makes it a quadratic?
The square.
The x squared. Okay. Now we didn't, last chapter we solved them, but we didn't graph them. You guys know what the graphs look like?
U.
Yes, it's a U shape that we call
Parabola.
a parabola. It's not exactly a U because it doesn't ever go straight up. It just keeps going forever. It gets steeper and steeper as it goes up, goes over, but it never goes straight up. So it goes forever to the right and forever to the left.
So it is a V.
No, neither. It's more like a U than it is a V.
U.
Okay, anyways, it's quadratic. So if I was to graph just the basic f of x equals x squared, what would it look like? If I'm not sure how to graph it, you can always start by just plugging in some numbers for x and see what comes out. So, for example, if x was -2, what would f of x be? By the way, the y coordinate is the same thing as the f of x coordinate. The y-axis could also be the f of x axis. Okay, they're interchangeable. Y equals x squared. Okay, anyway, if I plugged in -2 right there for x, what would I get? 4. -2, there's a little square up here. -2 squared is +4. If I plugged in -1 squared, +1. So if you plug it, by the way, if you plug it in your calculator like that, it would be wrong. Because we're squaring all of x, so we should be squaring all of -2. If you don't put the parentheses, it'll only square the 2 and then it'll add the -1 later, which would be wrong. So 0 squared, 1 squared, and 2 squared. Okay.
Oh, it's crooked. Oh, just rotate it.
I don't know, won't let me.
You gotta do rotate. Yeah, I thought you was like you put one. Boom.
Okay, 0 squared, 1 squared, 2 squared is 4. If I graph those, -2, 4, -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4. Okay, it makes this shape. Yes, that's called a parabola. Okay, do you guys recall what this point at the bottom of the parabola is called? It's called the vertex. Okay, the line, so notice the parabola is symmetrical. It's the same on the left and the right. The line that goes right down the middle is called the axis of symmetry. In this case, the axis of symmetry is the y-axis, but it could be like over here. You know, if the parabola moves around, it could move. So, what would the equation for this line be?
Y equals something.
Yes. Well, no, not quite. Axis of symmetry. You guys remember what symmetry means?
Something symmetrical.
Same on both sides. Like a mirror image, kind of. Like we are symmetrical down, because we just place down the middle, we look the same on both sides, roughly. Okay, the equation for an axis of symmetry, all the points in a vertical line have the same x-coordinate. What's the x-coordinate for this one? 0. If you move it over here, yeah, they're all unconnected. If you move it over here, it'd be like x equals 1, or x equals 2, or x equals -1. So the axis of symmetry always looks something like that. X equals 0, 1, 2, whatever. Vertex right now is at 0, 0. Okay, what do you think would happen to the graph if I put, let's say, a +1 right there?
Go up.
Right, the whole graph would just move up 1. What do you think would happen to the graph if I put a 2 in front of the x squared? Well, basically if you put a 2 in there, all these values would be doubled, times 2, times 2, times 2. So what happens when you multiply by 2 is everything goes up twice as fast. So it's really steep. Okay, what do you think would happen if I put a 1/2 in front of there? It would go up half as fast, so instead of being at 1, it'd be at 1/2. Instead of being at 4, it'd be at 2. So it just looks kind of broad. It goes up kind of slowly. Whoops, maybe a little too much there, but you guys get the idea. It goes up half as fast, so it's very flat, yeah. Yeah. Okay, and then one other thing that we're going to talk about today, what if I put a negative in front? What do you think that would do?
Would it go down or down?
Yes, all these y values would turn negative. So, in other words, all these, like +1 would become -1, and +4 would become -4. So yeah, it goes down.
Each do Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's why I said in the other class, so it's kind of like Spider-Man. Or the Spider-Man symbol.
He just said that. Why are you saying that?
Cause I can.
Oh my gosh.
Alright. Do you guys remember what domain meant?
It was like 1, 2, no.
All the x values?
Domain is all the possible x values. So I don't know if I can fix that, but what would the domain for a parabola be?
All of these.
Okay, it goes forever left and forever right. Right? So the domain is actually like all real numbers.
You don't want it.
And that's for all parabolas because they all do that. How about range? What's range mean? Y values. So what y values were covered by my original parabola? Well, are all these, y values means up and down. So are all these covered? No.
So it's all positive y values?
Yeah.
And 0.
On my original one, yeah, is y values 0 or greater than? How do I write that?
X is greater.
Y is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. That's enough. That's most of it. That'll get us going. Number 1. The graph paper is for like the last 2 problems, so you don't really need it yet. Okay, number 1 looks kind of like medium. Medium rare. Grant, I'm supposed to check your 17. Have you done it yet?
Yeah. Oh, on a test. I was like,
Yeah.
say
Cause you don't know.
All right. Number 1. What's the domain for number 1? Okay, what did we say domain meant?
It's all possible x values.
Yeah, left, it means x values, left and right. How far left and right does it go? Forever. All of them
So
are
it's all
covered.
real numbers.
So it's all real numbers, which this is kind of matching. So which option is that? F.
Are we gonna fill any of 1 through 8 on the test?
Yes, all the above. No, it's just,
How do you think you did on the test?
she already
The
saw
one
it.
you just took.
The science one?
Yeah.
For like the ones where it's like the plus or minus, do you have to like separate if it's like an I? Like
Yeah,
maybe two
just
different-
like that one. Okay. Number 2, range. What's the range on this graph? Range is y values. What y values are being covered by this graph?
Above.
The lowest y value is 1, so it's all the y values that are 1 or greater. So it'd be like y is greater than or equal to 1, which is option E.
Are you stupid?
Okay, number 3, the vertex. Where's the vertex at?
Negative 1, 1.
Right, it's at -1, 1. That's the vertex, which is option H.
Oh, I thought we were doing 3. Guys, I'm not stupid, I swear.
I'm just
Why are
kidding.
you
How are you?
Okay, number
She's a smarty.
4.
Broken out of
Okay,
nowhere.
4 is the axis of symmetry. Do you guys remember what I said the axis of symmetry was?
Like all
No, it's
oh yeah.
it's the line. Sometimes it's called line of symmetry. It's the line right down the middle. What would this line right down the middle be called? What would its equation be?
Negative 1.
X equals -1. You can't just say -1. So that is option
Why did you say
A.
that?
It's so good.
Why did you what?
Okay, shh, girls, hush. Number 5, the y-intercept. Okay, what's y-intercept mean? We've done this back when we graphed the lines. What's y-intercept mean?
It's like where the thingy intersects with the y-axis.
Where it intercepts the y-axis. Girls, we're gonna have to split you again.
No.
No.
Okay, where is it hitting the y-axis?
1, 2, 3.
2,
3.
or more specifically, 0, 2.
G.
G. Okay, number 6. What is the x-intercept? Where is it hitting the x-axis at?
1.
Nowhere. So which option is that? I does not exist. Number 7. Okay, maximum and minimum. I haven't talked about this, but maximum means what's the highest point, and minimum is what's the lowest point. So what is the maximum? What's the highest point on that graph? How high does that graph go? It goes up forever, right? So is there a maximum point? No. So we're gonna put I again, it doesn't exist. There is no maximum point because it goes forever. But is there a minimum point?
Yeah.
It's basically the what? It's the vertex. And the vertex was, remember, -1, 1. Same as our number 3 answer. So it's H again. If the graph is going up, the vertex is a minimum point. If the graph is going down, the vertex is a maximum point. It just kind of depends which way it's going. Okay, now I'm going to jump back to the odds. Floating away, floating away. Number 9. Okay, for each parabola, state the vertex, that's one thing. Whether the vertex is a max or minimum point, that's 2. The equation of the axis of symmetry, that's 3. The domain, 4. And the range, 5. 5 things. Okay, number 9, it's, where's the vertex at? -3, 2. So that's like, and it goes up from there. So that's our number, our first answer, -3, 2. Second question, is that vertex a maximum or minimum point? It's a minimum because it's at the bottom.
Can I write mini?
How about you stop?
For Fortnite reference?
How about min? Because mini makes it sound like it's tiny.
We're not.
So I can write
No, minis are massive, dude. They're 25.
Wouldn't that be?
You could write min, that's fine.
You can hold a lot of these.
Okay, what is the axis of symmetry? That's the line down the middle. What would its equation be though? I heard somebody whisper it. They weren't forceful enough. Was it you, Ava? Alright. On, what did you say? She said x equals -3. How'd she know that? Because it's going
Smart.
through all the x coordinates on this line are -3. Okay, there's a relationship here. What's the relationship between the vertex and the axis of symmetry? The x coordinate of the vertex is basically what x is going to equal on the axis of symmetry. Okay, because they both describe the x values on that line, -3. Anyway.
Yes.
Okay, fourth question was domain, I believe. What's the domain? All real numbers. Is it always going to be all real numbers? Yes. Okay, what's the range? Because it goes left and right forever. What's the range? The y values include 2 and above. So y is greater than or equal to 2. Now, if you ever take another class like college algebra or something, they don't write it like that usually. So it goes from, the y values go from 2 to infinity, and this is another way to write it. I kind of like this way actually, but our book doesn't use it. So this is saying 2 from infinity and 2 is included. That's what the bracket means. Anyway, you guys might see that later. It's not, if you ever run into it, I don't want you to freak out. Alright, number 11. Okay, where is the vertex on number 11? 2 what? Oh, that's number 10. 2 -1. Looks like that, and it goes down. Vertex is at 2 -1 right there. Is it a minimum or maximum point? Maximum, it is at the top. What is the axis of symmetry? X equals 2. It matches the x coordinate of the vertex. What is the domain? All real numbers every time. What's the range? The highest y value is what? -1. All the y values below that are also included. So y is less than or equal to -1. That doesn't look quite right. That ain't right. Okay. So on number 13, complete the table. What's that 5 on the 5x squared? What's that going to do to the graph? Make it go up 5 times faster, so it'll be really steep. So where's the vertex at? Okay, the answer is it doesn't move. The graph goes up 5 times steeper, but it still has to start up in the same spot. So the vertex is just going to be 0, 0. Okay, the opens part means, is the parabola going to open up or down? Up. How did you know that? Because the x squared term is positive. If it's positive, it's going to go up. If the x squared term is negative, it'll go down. Okay, the range is y is greater than 0, greater than or equal to 0. They kind of told us. It's because you're starting at 0, 0 going up, basically. Okay, is, compared to f of x equals x squared, is the graph going to be steeper, flatter, or same as normal? Those are 3 options. Steeper, flatter, or the same as normal. Okay, what's this 5 do to the graph? Makes it go up 5 times faster. So it's going to be a quite steep graph, very steeper. So basically, if the number in front of the x squared is greater than 1, it's going to go up faster than normal. If the number in front of x squared is less than 1, it's like 1/2, it's going to go up half as fast. And if it equals 1, it's going to go the same as normal. Okay, 15. Where is the vertex going to be for 15? Okay, it's going to be down 2 because that -2 will move the graph down 2. Okay, by the way, these tricks don't work when you have like a graph in standard form. Like if it was like this, like with an x term, the graph isn't just going to be up 3. It's a little more complicated than that. But if it's just kind of simple like all these are, just an x squared, like -2 or whatever, it's just going to be down 2. Okay, anyways, the vertex is down 2, so where's that going to be on the graph? 0, -2. That's where the vertex is. If you move it down 2, it's at 0, -2. Okay, and then it says opens. Where's it going to open? Downward. Why does the book say it opens downward? Because there's a negative on the x squared term. That makes it go down. Okay, range. What's the range going to be? Well, if the vertex is at 0, -2, and it's opening down, what y values must be included here? All the y values from -2 and below would be covered, right? So the range is y is less than or equal to -2. Okay, there's a relationship, I don't know if you guys noticed, between the y coordinate of the vertex and the possible y values. The range, starting at -2, since the graph is going down, all the y values below. So there's kind of a connection between opening down and less than, and then if it opened up, it's going to be greater than. Anyways, is it going to open up flatter or steeper than normal? Or the same as normal? Yes. If you multiply by 0.4, it's only going to open up like 4. It's only going to go 4/10. If the value in front of the x squared I said was less than 1, it's not going to go as quickly up or down. So it'll be flatter than normal. Okay, 17. X squared minus 1/4. What's the minus 1/4 going to do to this graph? Moves it down 1/4. So that means the vertex will be where? 0, -1/4. All right. Second question: is the graph gonna open up or down? x squared term is positive, it's gonna go up. Third question, what is the range gonna be? So, we just said on the vertex it's starting down at -1/4, 0, -1/4, and it's gonna open up. So the range is, right, -1/4 and above. So y is greater than or equal to -1/4. It's kind of a combo of these two things. Like we're starting at -1/4 and we're going up. So y is greater than or equal to -1/4. All right, and then the last one was, is it gonna open up steeper, flatter, same as normal? Same, because there's no number right there. It's an invisible one, I guess. So that's just a normal parabola, so same. Which of the parabolas described by the equations in the table above would be the steepest? So on 13 through 18, which of those would have to be the steepest? Yeah, 13, number 13, because 5x squared, 5 is the largest number in front of the x squared. Second part, there's a second question. Which of those would have to be the flattest? Okay, which is smaller, 1/2 or 0.4? 0.4. 0.4 is less than half, it's like 4/10. So that one would open up the slowest. So it's fx equals -0.4 squared. -2. Okay, so to do these last two, they're graphs. We're going to be doing a lot of graphs this week. It says basically make a table of 5 ordered pairs to help graph the parabola. I'm going to teach you guys a trick today to kind of find where the vertex is. Okay. When you have your function in standard form, like x squared minus 2x minus 1, kind of the way you know how last chapter we wrote it like that, equal to 0, and then like factored it or used quadratic formula. So this is called standard form. Okay, do you guys remember the quadratic formula? Yeah. Yeah, you guys all got that right, I'm pretty sure. This part that's in the front, right here, -b/2a, that part tells you like where the middle of the graph is. It kind of tells you like the axis of symmetry or like the x-coordinate of the vertex. That tells you like the middle. So what I'm going to do is make a table. But to kind of find the middle, I'm going to use this little part of the quadratic formula. -b/2a. What's -b going to be here? Let's get rid of that. You guys don't know that. You don't need it. Yeah, so -b would be 2. 2a would be like 2 times 1. So what's 2/2? 1. Okay, 1 is going to be the middle of the parabola. So what I'm going to do is put it in the middle here. And then they said use 5 ordered pairs. So if 1 is in the middle, what's 2 numbers smaller than 1? And then 2 numbers bigger would be 2 and 3. So those are the 5 points. If you choose x values on one side of the parabola, your graph might just look like this. and you wouldn't get a good full picture of the problem. So it's kind of important to find the vertex, which you can use this little formula, negative b over 2a. That just gives you the x coordinate of the vertex, the middle of the graph. Okay, so if I plug in -1, okay, is this -1 squared minus 2 times -1 minus 1? If I plug it in like this, would I get it right?
No.
No. It's kind of like the quadratic formula. Remember, you want to square the negative, not just the 1. So it'd have to be in parentheses. So anyway, this would be 1 minus times negative makes a plus 2 minus 1. So 1 plus 2 minus 1 it comes out as 2. If I plugged in 0, I'd get 0 minus 0 minus 1. If I plugged in 1, 1 squared is 1, 2 times 1 is 2, 1 minus 2 minus 1. If I plugged in 2, 2 squared is 4, 2 times 2 is 4, so it'd be 4 minus 4 minus 1. And then if I plugged in 3, I'd get 3 squared is 9, 2 times 3 is 6, 9 minus 6 is 3 minus 1 is 2. There's kind of some symmetry here, if you guys can see it. It's getting lower, lower, then it bounces, getting bigger, bigger. That's the parabola going down and up. Okay, and then just graph those points and that's it. -1, 2, 0, -1. Wait, that doesn't look right. One plus 2 minus 1 is 2. 0, -1. What did I do wrong there? Oh no, that's right. That's right. My bad. 1, -2, 2, -1, 3, 2. Okay, yeah, it makes a nice little parabola there. Okay, so on 22, you guys done? Maybe not. It says -x squared plus 4x. Can you grab it? Okay, so what did I do first last time? Negative b over 2a, that'll help me find the middle of the graph. So negative b is -4. 2 times a is 2 times -1. And -4 over -2 is 2. So that tells me that the vertex is at x equals 2. So what numbers should I put around that? 0, 1, 3, 4. Okay. When we go to plug in 1, so that'll be our vertex, whatever this is, 2, whatever. When we go to plug in like a 1 right there for x squared, is that negative supposed to be squared? Like, would this be right? Yes. The negative is not supposed to be squared. You could put parentheses around the 1. But you wouldn't have to. Your calculator would do it automatically. You square the x value, but not the negative. It's kind of like order of operations. You don't do the negative first. So that would be like -1 plus 4 times 1 plus 1 So -1 plus 4 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So